So this is for Interloper. This is your debut album. It's coming what 6 months after you dropped the EP, Relevant Legacy. So what was the? I have to be careful how I question this. Was Relevant Legacy kind of a close of that chapter so you could come out with this album and be fresh and new?
In a sense, yeah. So that EP was that EP contains some of the first songs, if not the first songs that we as a band wrote together.
Yeah.
With a new, at the time, new group of people comes, different visions for what we want for the band, from member to member. Those visions are different. And so I think that the EP ended up not being as focused as the full length is. I still really love those songs, of course, but I look at them more as like kind of like checkpoints in history for me, in my history and in the band's history. But yeah.
Cool. I mean, you just used the words vision and focus there when talking about both bodies of work. With this album, what is the vision and what's because the paperwork that we got suggested that there was a theme in there, and I've listened to the album as well, but I didn't have the lyrics with it. So, I mean, is there a theme and a vision within this album?
There was not an intentional theme, but I think that the lyrical content from song to song, they kind of fit together, I guess. Although the songs are not directly related to each other, it kind of goes over just not social issues, but like interpersonal issues rather. Moments in my life that were traumatic, that I wrote about to move past and cope with. I wrote some of the lyrics about more so like observations of like human behaviors and the effects that come with that, things like that. And Mike's lyrics, because we had a singer before me who wrote on, I believe, like 4 or 5 of the songs. He wrote the lyrics for 4 or 5 of the songs, and they were. We never really got the answer for what those ones were about, but
just thinking.
But what they seem like is that they're kind of observations as well on like social issues and on personal matters, in a really less obvious way. I think Mike's writing style is a lot more ambiguous than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, they said that the sound. So before, obviously we always get like a run sheet sort of thing, and it said that the sound was modern prog rock. But when I listened to it, that's not what that stood out to me. So how do you describe your music there?
I mean, I would just describe it as progressive metal, man. I think that we're not. It's hard to say because when I mentioned, the focus and vision thing for Revenant Legacy was less focused stuff, and this one's more focused. I would say when I'm defining focus for in this context, it's more so we're more on the same page with what we want the sound to be, and that sound isn't quite defined, I don't think, in any of our heads. It's just like, okay, this sounds like Interloper, and then we just kind of go along with that. I think maybe when we're further along when we have a few more albums in a few I think that maybe it'll turn into something a little different from what we have now, and that will be our sound. You know, it's just what we feel the band sounds like. It's just kind of like a undefined thing, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, it's all a growth thing, isn't it?
Together, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I listened to we got the album yesterday, so I listened to it today, and I listened to it again this morning, and I quite enjoyed it. I enjoyed that there was the two different vocal styles that was in there. I enjoyed the artistry that was in there, the dynamics of the songs. Like it was all really good. I think the reason why I didn't consider it prog, and this is just me, I mean, obviously I don't want to narrow you into anything, was that I'm not a big fan. This is my personal opinion of prog. I think sometimes prog can go down a path of like musical wankery. You know, you can just like kind of disappear doing stuff. And I felt that you guys actually didn't do that. Like you kept that in there. But I suppose, yeah.
For sure. We're very careful about that because we don't like that either. I think that there are bands that have their place in that, and it's fine. And you know, sometimes I'll listen to bands like that and enjoy it fully because I'm just trying to like go down the rabbit hole kind of thing.
Yeah.
But for our music, I think what we wanted to do was more so focus on the songs as a whole and how the songs are going to come across and get that impact that we want across. And a lot of times when you get kind of like more techie or prog or whatever with it, with certain songs, they tend to lose focus, you know, and so that goes against what we're trying to do.
Yeah, cool. I'm glad I picked up on that. I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Yeah, totally, man.
You were talking about the sound and that earlier. Your brother is mixed and mastered the album. Do you think having a family member in creates something a little special?
Oh man, it was great, man. I grew up with that dude writing music with him. He's who I bounced my ideas off of, and vice versa, growing up, and he's the reason why I like do what I do, you know. So having him at my side, even though like he's not in the band, was really special because it was like a point of comfort for me.
Yeah.
I felt like I could just bounce ideas off of him, and he could be objective about the music, and I would trust his like production decisions based off of that, you know, because I know that he's thinking of the greater good.
Yeah, the long game.
Yep, exactly. And sometimes when you're making songs, it's easy to lose sight of that.
Yeah, good. One of the changes you talked about earlier as well was that the previous singer, you're now the singer. So how, you know, is that something you've taken, you're really comfortable with, or have you had challenges?
Oh, I've had plenty of challenges for sure. One of them being a lot of the songs on the album and stuff, songs that I've written in sections of like riffs and stuff that I've written, were not intended to be ambidextrous in the vocal and guitar realm, you know. Sometimes the rhythms completely like are unrelated, and it makes it really difficult for my brain.
Yeah.
So yeah, things like that have definitely been a factor, but as I've practiced and like, you know, honed that skill in a little further, it's gotten easier, so that's promising.
Good. Duran, what's the story behind that?
Yeah, so that song, basically, it's just whenever me and the boys will like go out and, you know, party and have good times with each other, this and that, like that song always ends up coming on, or we just always want to play that song at some point in the night when we're together, and we just love it. It's always been the song that we dig it, and we just thought it would be a good idea to like pay our respects by doing a cover.
It was like, as I said, like, when I got the album yesterday, when I first listened to it, I had it on like I was listening to it while doing other stuff because I like to kind of get the like what would it sound like in my day-to-day life sort of thing. And then that song came up and I was like, so I didn't know it was a cover version because I hadn't read anything. I was just playing the album and I was like, I fucking know that. Where do I know that from? And it was, yeah. And the thing I liked about it is two things. The whole synthwave keyboard thing that was going on, and it was different. One of the things I always love about cover versions when they're done well is that the word you just used, it's familiar, but it's not the same. And I really appreciated that as a music listener, that you went that extra to do something different.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I think it was we made a very distinct point to not change the song too much. We wanted to kind of modernize it, but we didn't want to disrespect it by like deconstructing it and turning it into something else. And so it's just got like, you know, a kind of modern edge to it, I think.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you know, like the drum parts are like pretty much totally respectful to the original. We zazzed the guitars a little bit, and that sax solo in the bridge is now like dual guitar solos. You know, like that's pretty much all that we did to it. It was just a matter of like what parts we wanted to emphasize that we liked, or like I don't know, just things like that.
Just make it yours.
Us. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned there early on one of the previous answers about obviously playing and singing at the same time. And I know it's difficult in a COVID world, but I mean, have you guys been playing any shows?
No, man, we haven't. We have not, and I don't know if we will this year. But there are bands in the States that are, you know, announcing tours. So that's nice to see. But I just don't know that it's going to happen for us this year. Maybe not.
Okay.
I just there's no way to really tell yet, you know.
Well, everything's like day to day. I mean, we just had a big concert cancel because two of the support bands were American, so it's like they can't come over here. So, you know, I get that.
Damn.
So what are the plans then in terms of the band for the next 12 months with this album?
Well, our plan is to write the next album. We're already pretty far along in that regard. I think we have about 6 or 7 songs done. I don't know, but you know, album 2 is pretty far along now. Thanks to the quarantine, you know.
Yeah. What else can you do?
If we were touring during this time and stuff, you know, that wouldn't have happened. You know, that music wouldn't have been made. So I'm thankful in that way. We're a little ahead of schedule in that regard. So I think we're going to keep doing that, as well as just making some more like online content for people to enjoy. You know, to any way that we can support the album that isn't touring, we're going to try our best to do.
Cool.